The Three Lakes, our beautiful Three Lakes, Rippewam, Oskalita, and Walkabuck, were formed 20,000 years ago during the Wisconsin Ice Age. The early Native Americans called these three lakes Long Pond. These early American natives sold the land around Long Pond to the citizens of Stamford, Connecticut in 1701. Over time, cottages began to appear on the shore. Cottages were built originally to be rented out in the summertime. The first cottage, Coghlan House, was built in the early 1890s.
Our house is the oldest house on Lake Oskalita, and at the time it was built in about the 1890s, it was built at the end of the lake, and somehow before the 1930s or so, they decided it should be in the middle of the lake on the shore. And so one winter when the ice was very, very thick, they came with horses and they took off the foundation and they dragged it up the lake, and all of a sudden it was placed right in the middle where it is today. My grandfather, Benny Wood, and 4 of his friends wanted to build a cottage on Lake Oskalita to go fishing. So they each put $100 in, and they had the house built, which is now Camp Sunup. My grandfather worked down in New York City. I don't think he knew how to build anything. I'm sure they had it built. The lake means to me summer vacations, family time, and lots of adventures. Coming up as a little girl, going for boat rides with my grandparents, hanging out with my siblings, doing stupid things in the boats, sailboat rides, catching fish, hunting down turtles in the channel, picking blueberries in the channel to come back and make pancakes, hanging out with the trout girls, Susan and I going out on the lake, seeing how many times we could flip the sailfish like Stephen and Taryn do now. Many nights spent on the porch with the McMonagle boys playing board games, hiking up to Bald Rock. Just a lot of adventures as a young person, and then when I had my family and brought them up, teaching the boys how to swim up here and boat and do all the fun things that I grew up doing, and giving them that stability of always having the same place to come in the summers as we moved around the country. So just a great relaxing time, lots of family and friendship.
I've been coming to this lake house all of my life, all of my summers. My mother grew up in this lake house, and then she brought me every summer while I was living at home. If I think back on what is my biggest memory of the lake and this lake house, and believe me, I have many memories. I met my wife here. My sons grew up here. I was promoted in the Marine Corps here, but the greatest memory is a memory of my grandfather and working with my grandfather. My grandfather owned this house. He bought it in the 1940s, and he was a worker. He always was working on things, and he was very eccentric in his beliefs. He believed that the water running down the hill was dangerous and was going to take the house out, and so we spent a lot of time arranging the rocks and the stones and keeping the driveway gravel so that it would slow down the water. But my memories, as I said, are all about my grandfather and working with my grandfather.
This is that board, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I guess we'll go back here.
I remember when I was a little girl, and that was back about 1932, we used to come up here and have Sunday dinners. It wasn't Grandpa Wood, but his name was Squire, and he used to take me in the boat, and we'd go up near the channel looking for little turtles. I can remember that as a little girl.